Good evening. Good evening. Glad you can join me. First of all, I just want to mention, um, even though I mainly talk about math and science here, I can probably help most students with every exam, the GED or high set. The first thing I would say for your reading comprehension, um, I would work on, I would use a site either called readworks.org or readtheory.org. Sign up as a student, gives you a pretest, and then you work on your reading comprehension. But most importantly, what I like about, especially uh, read theory, is that once you complete an assessment on a reading selection, it gives you why your choice was incorrect or correct. So you can actually learn from the assessment, even when you get the question wrong. So that's what I like about that. So readtheory.org and readworks dot I think it is. So yeah. Hey Zane, how you doing?
Hi, Mr. Tennessee. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. What you been working on this week?
Math, because my math exam is coming up. So I've been
When?
in the on the 17th.
On the 17th. All right, make sure
On
you
the
t
yeah.
make sure you text me so we can set a one on one up.
Okay.
All right. All right, what you
All
been
right.
working on this week?
Been working on the graph, the
Linear equations?
analysis. Yeah, that
Okay.
right there. I gotta remember the different steps. So I've
Okay.
been on that. I've been doing it on paper, like so I can remember, the steps.
Okay, so what have you been doing? Is you been using a comparison between two sources, slope, parallel, perpendicular? What you been working on?
Yeah, the
Par
parallel.
Parallel and perpendicular?
Yeah,
All right. All right, so let me ask you a question first, just real quick. What is it? What is this parallel lines?
two lines that go across
That go across where?
the slope.
Go across where though? What do you mean
It
across
could
the
go
slope?
across anywhere. Like
You
it's
can't
two.
go across the slope. Slope
I mean,
is a determination
I
of the
mean,
lines.
not the slope. It's two lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's I got it down here on the paper. They asked one of them questions on them quiz I took. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
It's two lines, two
Mm-hmm.
or more lines that are weight that the way the same the distance. They go the same distance.
Nope. So parallel lines are two lines that will never cross. So what you have to remember is a line goes forever in theory, right? A line segment is what stops. So it's not that they're the same length. You can have two lines that are the same length, but they're not parallel. Parallel lines are two lines that will never cross.
That
So
would never cross.
that will never cross. So for example, let me show you. And it's important that you notice, um,
So I got the last part right. That would never cross.
two lines
Yeah,
that will never cross. And
that
because
would
they will
never
never
cross.
cross, you know that they have the same slope. So that's what's important about even when you hear that word. Like for example, okay, so I'm gonna put an equation in y equal 2x plus 3.
Hey man, look.
Y equal 2x minus 5. If you notice, if you look at this, you should be able to tell right away that the slope of this first line is 2. The y-intercept is 3. When you look at the second line, you should easily be able to tell the slope is 2. The y-intercept is -5, right? So that means What is the y-intercept tell me? That's going to cross at 3. Again, what's the y-intercept tell me? It's going to cross the y-axis at -5. But if you notice, as I zoom in and out on these lines, they never cross because their slopes are the same. These are called parallel lines. Got me?
Okay. Yes.
All right. So now you might be asking, so well, Mr. Tizzy, well, what are they going to ask me about parallel lines? So what they might say is they might give you different questions. And again, I'm going to my free GED math course. And I have a particular section on linear equations that talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. So let me find it first. So while we're on that subject, though, what is a perpendicular line? Do you know? What's a perpendicular
Perfect.
line?
No, I forgot.
Okay, so let me put this. Okay, perpendicular lines are two lines that cross. But what's special about perpendicular lines is they will form a 90-degree angle. So if you notice, it has a slope of 2. So I rewrote these equations, and this one has a slope of -1/2. Well, 2 is the same as 2/1. So the slope of a perpendicular line, if you change the sign and flip, you change the sign and flip, you'll get the slope of any line that's perpendicular to it. So the slope is 2 or 2/1. The slope of any line that's perpendicular, change the sign, negative. 2/1 becomes 1/2. So the definitions that you got to remember: parallel lines are lines that will never cross, and they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines are two lines that cross but form a 90-degree angle. That's what's about perpendicular. So let me go here to linear equations. I don't know why it's taking so. Yeah. And that's very, very important. They're going to ask you, maybe sometimes they'll ask you one question, maybe two. They usually don't ask you both, but they might. So we want to be ready. So let's find equations of perpendicular and equations. Again, this is coming from my free GED course. It's using a free resource called CK12. Let's open that in a new tab. Let's open that in a new tab. Now, with this in this free course, right? When you
Hmm.
log in as a student, you don't even need an account on the site. So I'm gonna view it as a student, and then we're gonna do some practice so you can understand um, parallel and perpendicular lines. What's a parallel line again? I forgot already. Can you tell me?
Lines that would never cross.
Lines that will never cross. And what's the perpendicular lines again?
Two lines that comes to 90 degrees that will
That,
cross together.
okay, good. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. So that's important. Now you might have one question, you might have two. At most, you're probably gonna have two that that deal with parallel perpendicular lines. So it's not a it's an area of linear equations that you should know. Um, but you're only gonna have one or two questions. So, but once you know those two things, parallel lines, two lines that are lines that will never cross, and they have the same slope, and perpendicular lines are lines that cross or intersect but form a 90-degree angle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep practicing. Hopefully my skill level is not too high. It says mastery, so I'm gonna get some incorrect on purpose so it can take my skill level down to proficient. So I'm gonna get some wrong on purpose. Let's see what question they ask first. And then let me open up GED study guide also has, okay, I like this question already. Okay, it says, um, which of the following equation is parallel to the line 5x minus 3y equals 6. Okay. Which ones we know it's not already? Which
A.
ones you think it's not A?
Yeah.
No,
No,
definitely.
we said, wait a minute, wait a minute. Which of the following equation is parallel to the
So
line?
what form 5x minus 3y equals 6? Is this standard form or slope intercept form?
Slope intersects?
All right, so let's make sure we understand what I mean by the two forms. Okay. So the first
Mm-hmm.
form, slope intercept form. Now I'm gonna have to abbreviate because I'll try to get it all in. Slope intercept form is y equal mx plus b. Okay. An example of that is the example we just used. Y equal 2x minus 3. Y equal 1/2 x minus 5. Okay. They look like this. That's slope intercept form.
Slope intercept form.
So what you should easily be able to tell if you're given an equation of slope intercept, my m is my slope. So my m is whatever's in front of my x. So my slope of this equation is 2. My slope of this equation is 1/2. It's easy. My y-intercept, it was whatever's left of this equation. My y-intercept here is minus 3. My y-intercept here is minus 5. Okay, that's the first equation you should be, the form you should be familiar with. Okay, the second is standard form. There's actually 3, but I'm only going to go over 2. Standard form. And that's ax plus by equals c. So when I look at this equation here, this doesn't start with y equal. So I know it's not slope intercept form. So I go over here and I realize that this is standard form.
Mm-hmm.
So my a, what's in front of my x is 5. My b, whatever's in front of my y, is negative 3. My c is equal to 6. Understand that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now I gave you a shortcut in previous classes to find the slope of a linear equation that's in standard form. You take the opposite of a. So if a is 5, the opposite of a is negative 5. B is negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive, so my slope of this line is 5/3. So again, negative a b, negative a b. There's a standard form to find the slope is negative a over b. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here and say, okay, negative 10 over negative 6. If I reduce that to lowest terms, I get 5/3. It's no reason for me to go anymore. They have the same slope. So I know my answer is A. So let's make sure, let's check it. Pick A, see if that's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is another question you might see. Find the equation of a line given the following information. It passes through -1, -4, and is parallel to y equal 5x plus 2. So, what's given in this question? What is given to us in this question?
Your M, the 5X,
Not the 5x. Your m
the
is not
slope,
5x. Your m is what? Not 5x is what?
is 2,
No. The slope. What's the slope?
the Y,
Y equal mx plus b. What's my m? My slope is what?
5.
5. Not 5x. 5.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My slope, my y-intercept, so my slope is 5. My y-intercept is what?
Two.
Plus 2. So that's given. That's one thing that's given. They also give us a point. What two things does a point give us? What two things does a point give us?
-1, -4.
Right, -1, -4, but what do they correspond to? What two values?
Arrow. Um.
When you're given an ordered pair, it's in the form of x comma y. So this is my x, this is my y. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
So when they give you a point, they're giving you an x and a y value of a point that's on that line. When they give you an equation, you can ascertain two things from that equation. I can get the slope and I can get the y-intercept. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we didn't even start the question yet. Now, what is it asking? They want to know the equation of a line that passes through -1, -4 and is parallel to y equals 5x plus 2. So what you should automatically know is that the equation is going to start with y equal 5x. Tell me why I say that.
Because that's your slope.
Right. And why do we know it's going to start with y equals 5x? Because our slope is 5. Because the lines are what?
Parallel.
Parallel. So we already know our equation is going to start with y equal 5x. The problem is we don't know the y-intercept. So this is what we're going to do. Watch this. Y equals mx plus b. Given what we know, what is y?
-4.
-4. Equal. Our slope is 5. What's our x?
5.
Wait a minute.
What is our
One.
x?
-1.
-.
-1 plus b. So all we did is we started with this equation here. And all we did was plug in what we know. We know y is -4. We got that from our point. We know our slope is 5. We know our x is -1. We got that from our point. Now, so we're going to simplify this. We get -4. What is 5 times -1?
5 times. Let me write it down. 5.
No, you shouldn't have to write that down.
So
5 times -1.
5. 3. 5 times -1. 4. No. 9.
Huh? 5 times. Oh, Paul.
Wait a
You're
minute.
going
Wait a minute. 5
all over the
times
place. Don't write nothing down. I want you to write nothing down. This is easy. What's 5 times 1?
6.
Hold on.
5 times 1 is 5. 5.
Okay, perfect. We're not adding, we're not subtracting, we multiplying.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm all over the place. 5
Okay,
times 1.
it's
Yeah.
5. That's easy. Now, a negative times a positive makes a what?
Negative.
A negative. So 5 times -1 is -5. If you're still making mistakes with sign numbers, you need to practice with sign numbers. Okay, that's important. Listen, I would say the number one reason why people don't pass the GED exam, first of all, is because they don't finish. The second reason is because they make mistakes with sign numbers. The third reason is because they don't know linear equations. So -4 equals -5 plus b. If I want to get b by itself, what do I need to get rid of?
To get beat by itself. So you the 5.
What kind of 5 is that?
-5.
Okay, what's the opposite of -5?
Positive.
+5. Whatever I do on one side,
Do on the other.
I do on the other. Okay? We'll simplify everything. What's 5 minus 4?
1.
1. Bring down our equal. The 5's cancel. We bring down our b. If we know our y-intercept is 1, we know our slope is 5. So we know our slope is 5. We know our y-intercept is 1. What's my equation of the line?
5x.
Nope. What
No.
does every How does a linear equation in slope-intercept form, what does it begin with?
The slope M.
No, what does it begin with?
M Y
Y what?
equal
Equal?
1.
No. Y equal mx plus b. If our slope is 5, what did I say we know our equation is going to start with? Y equal what?
Y equal 5.
5 what?
B. My Y equal 5. And don't the 1 go in there somewhere?
No, no, hold, pause. It's not y equal 5. It's y equal 5 what?
X
X. You cannot forget the X. Every
plus 1.
slope-intercept form is y equal mx plus b, y equal 2x plus 3, y equal 5x minus 3, y equal 1/2 x minus 5. It has an x, y equal 5x plus 1. So if you're given the slope and you're given the y-intercept, you should be able to find the equation of the line. You have to be able. So now the answer to this is y equal 5x plus 1. Let's check it. Let's check it. Y equal 5x plus 1.
Oh, you bringing me my boy. So
Now, you have to understand this is a multi-step problem. On the GED, they could have said like this. They could have gave you A, y equal minus 5x minus 5. They could have gave you B, y equal negative 1/5 x plus 2. C, y equal 5x plus 1. D, y equal 1/5 x minus 7. You don't have to do all that work that I just did if they give you several equations that have the different slope. Because what do we know about parallel lines? We know we're looking for a line that has a slope of 5. So when I look at what's the slope of equation A?
5x.
Nope. What's the
Y the
nope?
slope.
What's the
So your
slope?
slope is always the M.
Right. So in multiple choice option A, what is the slope of A?
-5.
-5. So we know it's not A. What's the slope of B?
-1.5.
That's not a half, that's a 5.
I mean 1. Yeah, -1.5.
So we know it's not B. What's the slope of C?
5.
5. That's
5x. Mhm.
no, not well, you keep saying that
Well,
X.
5. 5.
5. So we know that's the
Okay.
answer without doing any work because we know two things they gave us. Parallel lines have the same slope. So we can tell from this equation that was given to us, the slope is 5. So given this list of multiple choice options, I don't have to do all the work I just did. I'm just looking for the equation that has a slope of 5 because I know parallel lines had the same slope. Got me?
Yeah,
All right, let's try one more
got
and then we're
you.
going to go to perpendicular. Mm. Now, you probably won't see this on the GED, but you might see this on high set or task. What they're saying is line A runs through 2 3, 1, and 0, 10. Line B runs through 1, 1, and 5, 4. These lines are, the options are these lines are parallel, these lines are perpendicular, or neither. How do we do that? What do we have to find to know whether they're parallel or perpendicular? We have to find their what?
Slope.
Slope. Slope. We have to find that slope. How do you find the slope from 2 points? Do you know the formula to find the slope from 2 points?
Why? No, you just told me. I forgot. I gotta write it down.
No, no. Listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You're trying to remember right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find the slope from 2 points? How do
A
you
plus Is it A plus
No,
B?
that was
No,
finding the slope from an equation.
on equation.
So
Okay.
on the GED, you're going to have to know how to find the slope from 2 points. You're going to have to find the slope from an equation. You're going to have to you're going to have to be able to find a slope from a graph. You're going to have to find a slope from a table. Okay, you have to know the difference. This is not an equation. They gave us 2 points. So here on your formula sheet, you will find a formula to find a slope from 2 points. That formula is M equal, because remember, M stands for slope. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. You have to know this equation. This is the equation you're going to use. If they give you 2 points, if they give you two ordered pairs, this is how you're going to find the slope. So let's look at these 2 points first. What is Y2?
All right. Y2 is just slope.
No. Okay. All right. So let me go deeper. We have to make sure what we're looking at. Each point is an ordered pair, has to look like this. This is
X,
called an
Y.
ordered pair. Every point on the coordinate plane will look like this. Parentheses, X comma Y, close parentheses. So how do we differentiate these 2 points? We're going to call this our first point. We're going to call this our second point. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this you have to know. Yes, this is a guaranteed problem on your exam. You have to know how to find a slope from 2 points. Because this is my first point, I'm going to call this X1 and I'm going to call this Y1. Since this is my second point, what am I going to call this point? What am I call these two values? X what?
X2,
X2 and
Y2.
Y2. Perfect. So when I'm using this formula, Y2 minus Y1, what's Y2?
Y2 ordered pair. Let me see. 3, 1. Well, what you asked me, which one
What is
is
Y2?
A or B?
Is it
It's the
positive 10?
It's positive 10. Minus, what's Y1? What's Y1?
How you get 10?
Because remember, I'm not getting 10. This is not a calculation. I'm just looking that they
Oh.
gave me 2 points. So if you notice 3, 1, right over top of 3, 1, I put X1, Y1. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Over the second point, I put X2, Y2. You see that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So as I asked what Y2 was, she said 10. What's Y1?
Okay.
Ow, 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 ow.
What's Y1?
Is it 3?
Why? How do you get
Y.
3?
Oh,
Y1
Y1 is 1. So I'm
is
looking
1.
at it how she just, huh? I said it. I
Okay.
said it was 1.
No, you said
Oh, a
3.
negative 1.
You said 3.
And then I said 1.
Oh, right. And then I said yes, and I wrote 1 down.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
what's X2?
So X2 is 0.
0. Minus, what's X1?
Is it a 3?
3.
Yes.
10 minus 1 is what?
9.
9. What's 0 minus 3?
Tummy time,
3.
tummy time.
Yes.
What's tummy time?
So we got 9 over minus 3. What does 9 over minus 3 reduce to?
Three going to 9 3 times.
Okay, so what does 9 over minus 3 reduce to?
3 over 1.
Nope.
3 going to 9 3 times, right?
You're right. So
And
you use your
3,
calculator. What is 9 divided by minus 3? You said 3 goes into 9 3 times. You're 100% right. So 3 going to 3 one time, 3 going to 9 3 times, right? But the difference is you can't get rid of this negative. It's not going to just disappear. So it's 3 over negative 1. So 9 over negative 3 is not 3. It's negative 3. And remember, I told you, most people, number one reason they don't pass the GED because they don't finish. The second reason is because they have problems with sign numbers. The third reason is they don't know linear equations. So if you're in doubt, put it in your calculator. So let's do this real quick. So we know the slope is negative 3. So doing this problem, this is what you would do. First of all, I got to identify my givens. They're giving me 2 lines, and each line are giving me 2 points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. That's your first step. They give you 2 points. You got to identify them. The next thing you do is you don't have to do it by hand. Grab your calculator and practice. I'm going to hit ND, y2, 10 minus y1, which is 1. X2 is 0. Hit my down arrow, 0, minus X1 is 3. And hit enter. It'll do it for you. I know my slope of that first line is negative 3. I know my slope of my first line is negative 3.
Be careful, Mama. Be careful.
Now, we got to go to the second line. We're going to do the same thing. I don't feel like writing that over, so I'm going to move these down. But you're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to change my color to blue so we can see the difference. Y2 is what? Remember, if you don't know the formulas, say it, write it, do it. M equal Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Y2 is what?
Y2 is 4.
4. Minus, what's Y1?
Oliver.
1.
1 over, what's X2?
Oh, my boy.
5.
5. Minus X1.
1.
1. What's 4 minus 1?
3.
What's 5 minus 1?
4.
So the slope of the second line is what?
3/4.
3/4. So the slope of the first line was 3. The slope of the second line was 3/4. Are these lines parallel?
No.
No. Why aren't they parallel?
Because they don't, it's not 2 lines. They don't cross. They cross.
How we know they cross? We didn't draw. Did we draw 2 lines to see if they cross?
No.
So we can't use that. But what information did I give you about parallel lines? They have the same what?
They don't have in common.
So parallel lines have the same slope. Do these 2 lines have the same slope?
One's 3/4 and one is 3.
No, you're not. See,
Negative 3.
negative 3. So do they have the same slope?
No.
No, so they're not parallel. So
Because
that's
it's
why.
negative, right? Because of the negative.
No,
the negative.
it has nothing to do with the negative. They're not the same. Same would be negative 3 and negative 3, 5 and 5, 8 and 8. One is
Okay.
negative 3, one is 3/4.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with whether they're positive or negative. They're not the same. Understand that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are they perpendicular? So we know that this first line has a slope of -3. We know any line that's parallel to that line also have a slope of -3. Any line that's perpendicular, what did I say? Change the sign and flip it. So positive 1/3. So does this have a slope of positive 1/3?
No.
No, so it's not perpendicular. So it's neither.
Wow.
Now, this is how I would have done this problem. I would have said, okay, I would have found the slope of the first one, like we did.
Yes.
And we said the slope was -3, correct? I then would have
Yep.
said, okay, any line that's parallel to that, I need -3. Any line that's perpendicular is positive 1/3. I may not need all that information, but I want to get my brain in a habit of knowing parallel lines have the same slope, perpendicular lines change the sign and flip it to find the slope of the perpendicular. And then when I find the slope of the second one, which was 3/4, right away, I know it's neither because I
Okay.
already listed
Yes.
the slope, any line that's parallel, any line that's perpendicular. Boom. So again, you have to use all your senses when you're doing math. So remember what I said. First of all, identify your givens. I got 2 points. If I got 2 points, I needed to be able to differentiate between point 1 and point 2. So I'm going to call x1 and y1 the first point. My second point, I'm going to label x2 and y2. To find 2 points, to find the slope of 2 points, I'm going to use the formula m equal y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is what you're going to do every single time you're doing a problem. We ain't going to do that one. I might know what the answer is, but we're not going to do this. Is one right here. Okay. So determine the slope of the line that is parallel to the line given. Can somebody answer this question for me? Is the answer to this A, B, C, or D? Determine the slope of the line parallel to the given equation. Y equals minus 5x plus 7. Can anybody help me do this problem? Is the answer A, B, C, or D?
I think it's B.
Okay, you think it's B. Anybody else?
B.
Okay, you think it's B. How about you, Richard?
Um, minus 5x plus 7.
No, I'm asking you, which answer do you think it is? A, B, C, or D?
Oh,
If you don't know, you can say I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Irene, I don't know if you can talk or not, but what do you think it is? A, B, C, or D? Okay. So,
I think it's letter B. I don't know. I'm not sure, Mr. Tinsley.
okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. So, so given this equation, let me change my color to red. And Tori, are you still there? Can you speak, Tori? I saw you put some answers in the chat, but if you can speak or put it in the chat, what do you think the answer is? A, B, C, or D?
oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say put it in the chat. I
No, no, no.
screamed it out.
I said no, Tori. I was talking to Tori.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's break this down because this is a problem you should be sure of.
Okay.
Okay, so what do we know? We're given an equation y equal minus 5x plus 7. What's the slope of this line?
5.
No, it is not. What is the slope of this line?
Minus 5x
What's the slope of this line?
minus
Oh,
5.
Minus 5. Okay, you kind of stop. So you and Zena, keep making that same mistake. The slope is not negative 5x. The slope is negative 5. You got to remember, if it's in slope-intercept form, whatever coefficient is in front of that x, I don't care if it's a decimal. I don't care
Ah.
if it's a fraction. I don't care if it's a whole number. If in slope-intercept form, y equal mx plus b, m is your slope. Whatever's in front of that x is your slope. You can't include the x.
Okay.
So the slope is negative 5. What's the y-intercept?
7.
7. Now, what do they want to know? They want to know the slope of the line that's parallel. What do we know about parallel lines? What do we know about the slopes of parallel lines?
They never cross and
Got
have
it.
the same slope.
That's what I'm looking for. Yes, they never cross, but the important thing for this question is that
Yes.
parallel lines have the same slope. So we
Right.
already know what the slope is, negative 5. So the slope of any parallel, of any line that's parallel is also going to be what?
-5.
Easy question. This was an easy question.
And somebody said B too, didn't he?
Oh, no, a couple people said B. 3 people said B. But I need to go over it because everybody didn't say B. Got me?
Okay.
And one person who said negative 5, she said she wasn't sure. Again, parallel lines have the same slope.
Right.
All right, so let's try. We went through 10 already. Didn't seem like it. All right, so that's parallel line. They might ask you about perpendicular lines. And why is this not first? Let me refresh this real quick. Again, they might ask you about perpendicular lines, so you want to make sure. So again, let's look at the study guide. Let me see if I got something in the study guide. So what you're going to write down and what you're going to say to yourself consistently is, how do I find the slope of a parallel line? Oh, parallel lines have the same slope. How do I find the slope of a line perpendicular? Change the sign and flip. So what I would do is, each time I get a problem like that, I would write the slope of the parallel. I would write the slope of the perpendicular, even though you may not need it. For example, let me go get a blank sheet real quick, because I want to ask you. I want to do something real quick. A second. Before we get to that type of problem, let me. All right, watch this. Let me ask you a question real quick, because I just want to see if we. So, if y equal 2x plus 3, y equal minus 5/3 x minus 5, y equal uh, 1/9 plus 1/9 x plus 3. So I want to know the slope. I want to know the y-intercept. I want to know the slope of the line that's parallel to that line. And I want to know the slope of a line that's perpendicular to this line. So y equal 2x plus 3. What's my slope of this line?
2.
2. What's my y-intercept?
3.
Okay. For any line that's parallel to this line, what's the slope?
Is it the opposite? No, it wouldn't be negative. 2.
Say what
Any
you know.
lines
Parallel lines have the
have
what?
the same slope.
So if
2
this
and
slope
3.
is, so, no, you're going too fast. You're going too fast.
Okay.
Parallel lines have the same slope. Why are you saying 2 and 3? What does 2 and 3 got to do with it? The 3 is the y-intercept. Parallel lines have the same slope. So what's the slope of any line that's parallel?
Y equals,
No, listen to what I'm asking. What's the slope of any line that's parallel to this line? If the slope is 2, any line that's parallel to it is also going to have a slope of what?
2.
2. That's all I'm asking. I didn't
wow,
ask for the equation line. I didn't ask for the y-intercept. What I asked for, and this is why we have to be careful on the GED. You have to know what pieces of information they're giving us. So from the equation of a line, I can get the slope and y-intercept. I can find the slope of any line that's parallel. I can find the slope of any line that's perpendicular. So the slope is 2, the y-intercept is 3. The slope of any parallel line is 2. What's the slope of any line that's perpendicular?
flip it,
And do what? Flip it in what?
make it a -2.
I didn't say make it negative. I said change the sign and flip.
Change
That's
the sign.
different.
Yes,
Perpendicular.
yes,
The slope of the perpendicular. I said change the sign
change the sign
and
and
flip.
flip it.
So if the slope is 2, what's the slope of the perpendicular? Change the
I can.
sign and what?
Negative,
So it's a -2.
Nope. Change the sign and flip.
Then that would be a -2.
Nope. What does flip mean?
Flip it upside down, but it's no number. So is
So
it
you said
3?
that you said there is no number. So okay.
So
What
what is
is
we flipping?
okay? Wonderful question. And this is why we have to be careful when to understand. So first of all, M is 2. Slope is
Oh,
2.
okay.
Isn't that the same as 2/1?
yes,
Yeah.
So any whole number can be expressed as a rational number. Any whole number can be shown as an improper fraction.
okay,
So 2 is the same as 2/1. So if I say change the sign, you change it to a negative, and 2/1 becomes what?
You just said an improper fraction.
No, 2/1, if we flip it, becomes what?
Perpendicular.
-1/2.
-1/2. So let's do this first. Let's make sure we understand how to find the slope, how to find the y-intercept, how to find the slope of a parallel line, how to find the slope of a perpendicular line. Okay, so that was the first one. Let me erase this real quick so we won't have any confusion. So for y equal -5x minus 5, okay, for the equation y equal -5/3 x minus 5. So let me ask you a question. Is this slope intercept form or standard form?
Is it
Is it?
standard?
no,
Nope.
So
So you see how much we have to practice.
yes,
First of all, we got to identify what type of linear equation this is. This is slope-intercept form. What is slope-intercept form? Can somebody tell me what slope-intercept form is? It's right at the top on the left.
yep. Y equals mx plus b.
Listen. You got to keep saying it. Slope-intercept form. Y equal mx plus b. M is my slope. B is my y-intercept. Slope-intercept form. Y equal mx plus b. M is my slope. B is my... You got to say it till you know it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you're going to try to remember on your exam. You're going to become frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So is y equal -5/3 x minus 5? Is that slope-intercept form or is it standard form?
Intercept,
Not intercept. What is the whole name?
intercept form,
Slope-intercept form.
slope,
Slope-intercept.
intercept form.
Okay. Standard form, slope-intercept form. All right, what's the slope of this equation here?
-5/3.
-5/3. What's the y-intercept of this equation?
-5. I mean,
-5. What's the slope of any line that's parallel to this line?
-5.
Nope.
mm-mm.
What do we know about parallel lines?
They have the same slope.
They have the same slope. So if the slope of this line is -5/3, what's the slope of any line that's parallel?
-5/3.
-5/3. That easy.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is you're trying to remember. So what you do is you reinforce every time you're working on this. So when you say y equal -5/3 x minus 5, okay, that's slope intercept form. Okay, m is my slope, so my slope is -5/3. My y-intercept is -5. Okay, parallel lines have the same slope. So if my slope of this line is -5/3, any line that's parallel to this line also is going to have a slope of -5/3. You say it, you see it, you write it. So now, what's the slope of any line that's perpendicular? What's the slope of the line that's any line that's perpendicular?
Change the sign and flip it.
Okay, tell me if the slope is -5/3, change the sign and flip it. What's the slope of a perpendicular line? The perpendicular line that's perpendicular.
So I know we changed the sign to plus
Okay,
And flip it.
tell
and
me what
flip
the
it.
flipping means.
3/5.
Three
3/5.
fifths. You wasting breath by saying flip it. You saying, so you should be able to look at this equation. Slope is -5/3. A y-intercept is -5. Any line that's parallel to this line is going to be, the slope is going to be -5/3. Any line that's perpendicular to this line, my slope is going to be 3/5. So what does that mean? So that means any equation.
Yeah.
So y equal -5/3 x plus 10. Y equal -5/3 x plus 2. Y equal -5/3 x minus 100. These are all parallel. Why?
Okay.
Because they have the same slope.
Okay.
Got me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. These are all different lines.
Yes.
They're not the same line. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me go back, erase this. Let's try the next one. So when you go back over this video, you walking yourself through, you pausing it when you get to that section, and you're going to say, okay, this is slope-intercept form. What slope-intercept form is y equal x plus b. Okay, my slope of that first equation is 2, my y-intercept is 3. My slope of my second equation is -5/3. My y-intercept is -5. My slope of the third line is 1/9. My y-intercept is plus 3. All right, so the third one, this one right here. What's my slope of this line?
1/9.
1/9. What's the y-intercept?
3.
3.
What's the slope of any line that's parallel to this line?
1/9.
1/9. What's the slope of any line that's perpendicular to this line?
-3.
Nope.
Oh,
9/1.
What kind of 9/1?
Negative. Negative.
Negative.
Negative 9/1, which is the same as -9. So look what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Found the slope was 1/9. Found the slope was y-intercept was plus 3. We said the slope of any line that's parallel, since parallel lines have the same slope, is 1/9. But the thing you have to remember is to find a slope of the perpendicular, you have to change your sign and flip. So 9/1 is flipping it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just making it negative, it's changing the sign
Yes.
and flipping. So right now, the slope of this line is positive 1/9. The slope of the perpendicular is negative 9/1. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's to flip.
So this is right now we're talking about three problems on your exam already. So let's look at a question like this. Find the equation of the line given the following information. And it's perpendicular, so passes through 2, 3, and is perpendicular to y equal 1/5 x plus 2. Every question, I don't care how easy, how difficult, the first thing we're doing is identify our givens. What are they giving us in this question?
They're giving us points.
They're giving us a point. What two things does our point tell us? What two things does a point tell us?
Is it X1 and Y1?
Do we need the x1 and y1 here? I mean, we could put x1 and y1, but why wouldn't we? The only reason why I called it x1 and y1 before is because we had 2 points.
Right.
So in this, since they gave us 1 point, we don't have to call this x1, y1. We just call it x and y. Got me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Given this equation, what's the slope of this equation?
105.
1 over 5.
1/5.
They want to find the equation of a line that's perpendicular. So what is the slope of a line that's perpendicular to this line?
-5/1.
-5 over 1, which is the same as what?
-5.
-5. Perfect. Understand what we did. I need you to understand what we did. We read this question. This is considered a difficult problem in your GED. But I need you to understand the steps. I don't want you to remember the steps. First of all, we identified our givens. They gave us a point. Each point gives us an x and a y. They gave us an equation of y. From that equation, we can figure out the slope. Slope is 1/5. The y-intercept is +2. Now, what do they want to know? They want to know the equation of a line that passes through that point and is perpendicular. So, I'm going to change my color. And we're going to start at the same exact place that we did for parallel lines. We're going to start with this form of a linear equation. This is slope-intercept form. You should have this down.
Right.
So, let's substitute what we know. Y is what?
Y is equal mx. So what did you ask? This was the slope?
No, I didn't ask that at all. I said, what is y? We're going to substitute values in where we can. What is y?
3.
3. Where did we get that 3 from?
The points.
From the point. Okay. Our slope of the perpendicular is what?
2.
No.
Listen to what I'm asking. What's the slope of the perpendicular?
1/5.
What's the slope of the perpendicular?
Five.
Nope. All right, let's start over. What's the slope of the line that they gave us? 1/5 x plus 2.
105.
1 over 5. What's the slope of any line that's perpendicular?
Oh, I'm
-5
sorry.
over 1.
-5. We don't say
-5.
-5. Okay. Boom. When I ask for the
Negative
slope, because we're trying to find the equation of a line of the perpendicular. So we need the slope of the perpendicular, which is -5. What's x? What's x?
1.
What's x? Take your time.
It's a 2.
Is a 2 plus b. Where you got 1 from, I have no idea. There's not even a 1 on here. Remember, that's why we identify our givens. We got our point, that's our x and y. We identify our slope, that's our m.
Okay.
So we then substituted y is 3 equal. Our slope is -5. Our x is 2 plus
Yes.
b. What is
Okay.
5? What's -5 times 2?
-10.
-10. plus B. In order to get B by itself, what do we need to get rid of?
Both sides.
No, no, no. Listen to my question. In order
The
to
10.
get B by itself, I don't see a 10 there. There's no 10 there.
Negative 10.
Negative 10. How do we get rid of negative 10?
Negative 10 on both sides.
Nope. How do we get rid of negative 10?
Add. Plus.
Add what?
10.
10.
The 10. 10.
Whatever we do on one
And the
side.
We're doing
do on
the
the other.
What's 10 plus 3? I'm going to come over here.
13.
13.
13 equal. My negative 10s cancel. I bring down my B. My y-intercept is what?
13.
13. My slope is negative 5. What's my equation of the line? If my slope is negative 5, my y-intercept is 13. What's my equation of the line? That's the easy part.
Gotta remember what the equation is again. Gotta write
We
that down.
know what the equation is. What's the equation that we always going to use for linear equation?
Y equals mx plus b.
Plus
So
B.
what's our M? So
5.
instead of y equal mx, we're going to put y equal what?
Negative 5
Y equal negative 5 what?
plus 13.
No, negative 5 what?
X
X
plus 13.
plus 13. Gotta know. Gotta know. So when you see this, when you go over this problem in this video, you have to say it. You gotta see it. You gotta write it. You gotta do it every single step of the way. You can't think you're gonna remember this and take this GED and get it right. You have to know it. You have to know. For example, let me clear the screen. You have to know they're asking for the equation of the line. That means my answer is going to be in the form y equals mx plus b. They gave us a point. You got to know they're giving me x and y. When they give you an equation, you got to know the slope of this equation is 1 over 5. My y-intercept is plus 2.
We look forward to seeing you at your appointment tomorrow, July 8th, 20.
Who was that? So, this is the givens. Now, they want the equation line of the perpendicular. So that means I'm not using the slope from this equation. I'm using it. I know it, but I have to use that slope to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular. So a line that's perpendicular, change my sign, flip it. You could then got to say, I know my slope, which is negative 5, and I have a point. I need to plug it in to y equals mx plus b. So that means for any problem on this exam, if you have a point and you have a slope, you're going to use this step. Identify your x and y, plug your slope in. My y is 3, my m is negative 5, my x is 2 plus b. Talk yourself through it. Simplify it. 3 equal negative 10 plus b. Say it and do it. I need to get b by itself, so I need to get rid of negative 10. The opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. Whatever I do on one side of the equation, I got to do on the other. 10 plus 3 is 13. Bring down my equal. My 10s cancel. Bring down my b. I know my y-intercept is 13. I know my slope is negative 5. Since I know my slope and my y-intercept, my equation line is y equal negative 5x plus 13. That's how you should be doing this problem. This is the same exact problem as parallel. The only difference is you got to know the parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, to find the slope of a perpendicular line, you got to change the sign and flip. And it's already 7. Wow. Let's try this last one for tonight. What information does the point give us? What
You say
information?
the points are
The
given us.
XY.
It gives us x and y. from this equation, what's my slope?
1/2.
1/2. What is my slope of my perpendicular?
-2/1.
-2/1 reduces to what?
Say that again. It's -2.
-2. So I know my slope of the perpendicular is -2. I know my point is -3 and 9. I'm now going to plug those in to y equal mx plus b. What's my y?
9.
9. What's my slope?
-3.
No, not -3.
I
What's my
mean,
slope?
1/2.
So we're trying to find the slope of the perpendicular. We're trying to find the equation of line for the
Oh,
perpendicular.
for the perpendicular, so it's flipped. -2.
-2 times x. What's my x?
3. -3.
-3 plus b. We need to simplify. What is -2 times -3?
-2 times -3 is 6.
6 plus b. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to bring this over here. Bring this over here. 9 equals 6 plus b. How do I get b by itself? What do I need to get rid of?
-6.
No, not -6. There's no -6 there.
6.
6. Now, how do I get rid of the 6? Now say what you said, Tori.
-6.
-6. Whatever we do to one side,
Do it to the other.
we do on the other. What's 9 minus 6?
4.
9 minus 6.
-4.
9 minus 6.
9. 3.
3. Bring down the equal. 6 is canceled. Bring down my b. If my y-intercept is 3, my slope of the perpendicular is -2. What's my equation of the line?
Y equals
Y equal
-2
-2.
plus 3.
No, -2.
X
X
plus 3.
plus 3. That's how you do one of the hardest problems on the GED right there. That's how you do it right there. It's not that hard. But you have to understand all the steps. First, identify your givens. They want to find the equation of a line. We know equation of a line is going to be y equal mx plus b. They gave us a point. We know if they give us a point, we know what the x and the y.
Let's see that.
They gave us an equation. They identified the slope as 1/2.
What is X?
Since they want to find the equation of a line that's perpendicular, we need to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular. So we change the sign and flips. So since our slope was 1/2, we change the sign, that becomes negative, and 1/2 becomes 2/1. So our slope is -2/1. That reduces to -2. So we know the slope of the perpendicular line is -2. So we know our equation of the perpendicular line is going to start with y equal -2x. So if you have a multiple choice, you might not have to do the second part. Just understanding that the slope of the perpendicular is -2, that means my equation is going to start with y equal -2x. So if you look at the multiple choice and you only have one that starts with y equal -2x, you're done. You don't have to do the last step. But this is a fill-in. So here they want you to do all the steps. So I know my slope is -2. I know my point is -3 and 9. I'm going to substitute those in to the slope-intercept form of a linear equation. My y is 9. My slope is -2. My x is -3 plus b. I'm going to multiply -2 times -3. I get a +6. So I get 9 equals 6 plus b. In order to get b by itself, I need to get rid of the 6. In order to get rid of the positive 6, the opposite of positive 6 is negative 6. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. I'm walking myself through the steps while I'm doing it. I'm saying it. I'm talking myself through the problem.
Wow.
Because if you don't do that, when you see this extraneous information, they're giving you charts, they're giving you graphs, they're giving you tables, they're giving you 2 paragraphs of information. If you don't understand what's important and how to pull that information out and walk through your steps, it's going to be frustrating for you. So we're going to do one more before we leave from the study guide. Let me open my study guide. Hopefully it's open. It is not open. Hold on. Let me open my study guide. Hold on. I'm going to do one last one. Study guide. Where are you? Where are you? Come on. It's not here. I can't believe my study. Oh, there you go. Right there. So what you should know tonight is, first of all, there are 2, well, more than 2, but the 2 forms of linear equations we went over tonight were standard form and slope-intercept form. The second thing we went over, parallel lines have the same slope. To find the slope of a line that's perpendicular, we change the sign and flip. This question is combining both of those things we did. Find what is the slope of a line that's perpendicular. So in this question, the first thing you have to do is recognize this equation as standard form. AX plus BY equals C. AX plus BY equals C. This is not slope-intercept form. This is standard form. So, knowing this is standard form, I know my my A is 5, my B is -2, my C is 1. This is a little different. But sometimes what they're going to do, they're going to combine concepts. So this is why you have to know it and you can't remember it. So first of all, we got to identify this linear equation as standard form. What is standard form? AX plus BY equals C. A is 5, B is -2, C is 1. Oh, Mr. Tinsley told me the shortcut to find the slope of a linear equation in standard form is take the opposite of A and put it over B. So if I know A is 5, the opposite of 5 is -5. B is -2. 2 negatives make a positive. So I know the slope of this line is 5/2. That's not what they're asking.
Right.
They're asking what is the slope of a line that's perpendicular to. So what you should remember is the slope of this line is 5/2. I'm not done. I need to find the slope of the line that's perpendicular. Change the sign and flip. A positive becomes a negative. 5/2 becomes 2/5. The slope of the perpendicular is -2/5. You gotta be ready.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be ready. You have to know that, for example, watch this. Y equal 2x minus 3. Y equal -1/2 x plus 5. Y equal 2x plus 5. You have to know the slope of this line is 2. You have to understand the slope of this line is -1/2. You have to understand the slope of this line is 2. What you recognize is parallel lines have the same slopes. These 2 lines are parallel. Oops, I can't even spell. Hold on. Perpendiculars change the sign and flip. So if this sign is 2, which is 2/1, the slope of the perpendicular is -1/2. These 2 lines are perpendicular. How do we tell a line is parallel or perpendicular? By the slope only. That's all we need to know.
Mm.
We can tell if lines are parallel or perpendicular.
Right.
That's what we went over tonight. Let's go over it again. First of all, we had one question where they gave us 2 points. They gave us 2 lines with 2 points. We had to find the slope of each line. And we had to determine whether they were parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So understand what we did. First, we took the 2 points and we found the slope of each line. That's a guaranteed question on the exam. How to find an equation of a line given a point and a slope. Guaranteed question on your exam. How to find a slope or equation of a line of parallel or perpendicular. Guaranteed question on your exam. We went over 3 to 4 guaranteed questions on your GED exam tonight. I would make sure I watch this video and make sure I know how to find a slope from 2 points. I know how to find a slope of any line that's parallel. I know how to find a slope of any line that's perpendicular. How to, given a point and a slope, how do I find the equation of line? Guaranteed 3 to 4 questions on your exam. You will see all of them. Guaranteed. So what I would make sure I know how to do, watch this video and I go step by step. And then what I would do is I would go to either my GED course or go to your Kaplan book or go to any resource you use. Here with my math course, everything is in one place, which I showed you when we were here. So since I know this is perpendicular, I know this equation is going to start y equal minus 2x. I already know. Plus 3. Look what they did here. They gave a standard form again. So, AX. But hold on, Mr. Tinsley, this is not even standard form. What is this? Oh my God, I don't know how to do it. Oh my God, the GED is so hard. Oh my God. No, that's not what we're doing. They gave you an equation that's not in slope-intercept form or standard form. In slope-intercept form, we know it starts with y equal. So how do I get the y by itself? Divide by 3. So now I'm going to have y equal 5/3 x minus 7/3. This is a difficult problem. Most people, if this question was on the GED, would get this wrong. But what do I know? Hold on for 1 second. Let me clear this out. Let me make it so I can see the whole question. Watch this. And I want to, and this is what's so important about math exam and about critical thinking, right? Remember, this is not slope-intercept form. This is not standard form. But I can easily make this slope-intercept form, right? Divide by 3. That's how I'm going to get y by itself. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. These are unlike terms, so I need to divide them separately. So y equal 5/3 x minus 7/3. My slope of this line is 5/3. I want to find its perpendicular. So the slope of any line that's perpendicular is negative 3/5. Look at this. This is what I want you to show you. It doesn't matter that y-intercept is negative 7/3. All you have to recognize is that the slope of the perpendicular is negative 3/5. The slope of this line is negative 5/3. Not that one. The slope of this line is 5/3. Not that one. The slope of this line is 3/5. Not that one. My answer is D. So a problem that I said most people who take the GED would get this wrong is not even a hard problem. But you have to start with what you know. So let me review this question real quick. First of all, oh my God, I never seen an linear equation that looked like that. Oh, Mr. Tinsley told me, don't get worried. Let me take a deep breath. Y equal mx plus b. Well, that says 3y. Well, I can easily get y by itself. Let me divide by 3. If I divide this equation by 3, this side equation by 3, I can divide the other side by 3. My 3's cancel on the right side, so I'm left with y equal 5/3 x minus 7/3. Remember, when I'm dividing by that number, Since those are not like terms, I divide each of those terms by 3. So I'm dividing 5x by 3, and I'm dividing minus 7 by 3. So again, walk yourself through the steps. Okay, well, this is my equation of the line. I know my equation of this line, the slope of this line is 5/3. Well, if they want to find the slope of the perpendicular, I got to change my sign and flip. So I know the slope of the perpendicular is going to be negative 3/5. If you notice, I didn't even use the point to find my equation of the line. Since I know my slope is negative 3/5, it can't be the first 3. The only equation that has a slope of negative 3/5 is D. I'm done.
Right.
I didn't have to do all the work, but you have to understand what's given. You have to walk yourself through each step. You have to talk yourself through each step. You got to reinforce these concepts every single time. Let's check to see if we're right. Stop playing. I didn't plug this point in. I didn't plug 8 minus 2 in, did I?
No.
But first of all, what I did is I recognized that my slope of this line was 5/3. I didn't recognize the slope of any line that's perpendicular is going to be negative 3/5. Then I looked at the multiple choice and realized all of them have different slopes. So I'm just looking for the equation that has a slope of negative 3/5. This equation, this problem went from a difficult problem to an easy problem very quickly if you know what you're doing. I didn't plug
So let
in.
me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so I'm listening to what you're saying, right? To find an easier way.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is find a perpendicular line. So we know we flip it.
No, that's not what we
But
did
if
first. We found the slope of this line first.
I mean, all right, so the main thing out of this question is find the line perpendicular. That's the main question.
That's the main
That's
question.
what they want,
Right? Yep.
right?
Yes.
And we know perpendicular, we flip it. So if you look at the
No, 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 no,
problem,
no,
it
no, no, no,
basically
no, 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 no. To find the slope of the perpendicular, we change the sign and flip
And
it.
then flip it.
okay.
You can't forget that. We have to change. So once we find the slope of this equation, we have to change the sign and flip it to find the slope of any line that's perpendicular. So it's not just changing the sign and flip it. We have to find the slope of this line first. Once we find the slope of this line, then to find the slope of any perpendicular line, we got to change
Okay.
the sign and flip it.
Find it first. Okay.
So let me just say this. Watch this. 5x minus 7 equals 3y. Watch what I can also do. This is not standard form. I can make this standard form. I can subtract 3y from both sides. And I get 5x minus 3y minus 7 equals 0. I add 7 to both sides. 5x minus 3y equals 7. This is standard form. My a is 5. My b is negative 3. My c is 7. To find the slope of a linear equation in standard form, I take the opposite of a, which is negative 5, over b, which is negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive. So the slope of this line is 5/3. Then I get the same exact answer. The slope of this line is 5/3. But I did it 2 different ways. The first way, I did slope intercept. This way, I changed it to standard form. So the slope of this line is 5/3. The slope of any line that's perpendicular is negative 3/5. I still come out. Oops, not C, it's D. I can't see D right now, but D is negative 3/5. Because none of these equations have a slope of negative 3/5. This slope is negative 5/3. This slope is 5/3. This slope is 3/5. None of them have a slope of negative 3/5. That's how I eliminated. I didn't plug anything in, and I got D. No matter what form of a linear equation I use. Now, for me, personally, slope, what I would tell you to do as your instructor is slope intercept form. That's the one you're going to see the most. You might have one or two with standard form. Most of the time, you're gonna see slope intercept. Now we could plug all those numbers in, and that's why you got all these fractions and all. The GED, you're not gonna have that. They're gonna have common fractions and whole numbers. They're not gonna have all this plus two and 4/5 and all that. You got me?
Yes.
Yep.
I went way past, but that's all right. Because tonight I gave you 4 questions that you're gonna see in your GED. 4 questions you're gonna see in your GED. I can almost guarantee. So make
Thank
sure
you,
you know
Mr.
it.
Tenzi. Don't forget to send the video.
I'm not.
And don't forget, Mr. Tendy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Mr. Tinsley, I have a question.
Let me pause. Let me pause the record. Hold on.